Politics, a strife of interests masquerading as a contest of principles. The conduct of public affairs for private advantage. War is God's way of teaching Americans geography. Faith, belief without evidence in what is told by one who speaks without knowledge, of things without parallel. Corporation, an ingenious device for obtaining profit without individual responsibility. Painting, the art of protecting flat surfaces from the weather, and exposing them to the critic. Litigation, a machine which you go into as a pig and come out of as a sausage. Photograph, a picture painted by the sun without instruction in art. Philosophy, a route of many roads leading from nowhere to nothing. Marriage, the state or condition of a community consisting of a master, a mistress, and two slaves, making in all, two. Optimism, the doctrine or belief that everything is beautiful, including what is ugly. Education, that which discloses to the wise and disguises from the foolish their lack of understanding. Insurance, an ingenious modern game of chance in which the player is permitted to enjoy the comfortable conviction that he is beating the man who keeps the table. Women in love are less ashamed than men. They have less to be ashamed of. To be positive is to be mistaken at the top of one's voice. Conservative, a statesman who is enamored of existing evils, as distinguished from the liberal who wishes to replace them with others. Experience is a revelation in the light of which we renounce our errors of youth for those of age. Bore, a person who talks when you wish him to listen. The best thing to do with the best things in life is to give them up. Present, that part of eternity dividing the domain of disappointment from the realm of hope. Destiny, a tyrant's authority for crime and a fool's excuse for failure. Abstainer, a weak person who yields to the temptation of denying himself a pleasure. Learning, the kind of ignorance distinguishing the studious. Life, a spiritual pickle preserving the body from decay. When you doubt, abstain. There are four kinds of homicide: felonious, excusable, justifiable, and praiseworthy. An egotist is a person of low taste, more interested in himself than in me. Acquaintance, a person whom we know well enough to borrow from, but not well enough to lend to. Prescription, a physician's guess at what will best prolong the situation with least harm to the patient. Cynic, a blackguard whose faulty vision sees things as they are, not as they ought to be. History is an account, mostly false, of events, mostly unimportant, which are brought about by rulers, mostly knaves, and soldiers, mostly fools. Love, a temporary insanity curable by marriage. Bride, a woman with a fine prospect of happiness behind her. Logic, the art of thinking and reasoning in strict accordance with the limitations and incapacities of the human misunderstanding. All are lunatics, but he who can analyze his delusions is called a philosopher. Patience, a minor form of despair, disguised as a virtue. Death is not the end. There remains the litigation over the estate. Happiness, an agreeable sensation arising from contemplating the misery of another. Beauty, the power by which a woman charms a lover and terrifies a husband. Pray, to ask the laws of the universe to be annulled on behalf of a single petitioner confessedly unworthy. Sweater, garment worn by child when its mother is feeling chilly. Politeness, the most acceptable hypocrisy. Telephone, an invention of the devil which abrogates some of the advantages of making a disagreeable person keep his distance. Lawsuit, a machine which you go into as a pig and come out of as a sausage. Brain, an apparatus with which we think. Perseverance, a lowly virtue whereby mediocrity achieves an inglorious success. Admiration, our polite recognition of another's resemblance to ourselves. Saint, a dead sinner revised and edited. Coward, one who, in a perilous emergency, thinks with his legs. What this country needs, what every country needs occasionally, is a good hard bloody war to revive the vice of patriotism on which its existence as a nation depends. Future, that period of time in which our affairs prosper, our friends are true and our happiness is assured. Prejudice, a vagrant opinion without visible means of support. Who never doubted, never half believed. Where doubt is, there truth is, it is her shadow. Spring beckons. All things to the call respond, the trees are leaving and cashiers abscond. Success is the one unpardonable sin against our fellows. Ocean, a body of water occupying about 2/3 of the world made for man, who has no gills. The small part of ignorance that we arrange and classify we give the name of knowledge. Doubt is the father of invention. Religion, a daughter of hope and fear, explaining to ignorance the nature of the unknowable. Jealous, unduly concerned about the preservation of that which can be lost only if not worth keeping. In our civilization, and under our republican form of government, intelligence is so highly honored that it is rewarded by exemption from the cares of office. Cabbage, a familiar kitchen garden vegetable about as large and wise as a man's head. The hardest tumble a man can make is to fall over his own bluff. Annoyed, to grease a king or other great functionary already sufficiently slippery. Academe, an ancient school where morality and philosophy were taught. Academy, a modern school where football is taught. Enthusiasm, a distemper of youth, curable by small doses of repentance in connection with outward applications of experience. Liberty, one of imagination's most precious possessions. Ardor, the quality that distinguishes love without knowledge. To apologize is to lay the foundation for a future offense. Inventor, a person who makes an ingenious arrangement of wheels, levers and springs, and believes it civilization. A total abstainer is one who abstains from everything but abstention, and especially from inactivity in the affairs of others. Architect. One who drafts a plan of your house, and plans a draft of your money.